Hello guys, and welcome to Daddy Share Space. So here I have my Apple Watch Series 3. I've owned this watch for about 5 years and it's served me well. It's done what I've needed it to do over the past 5 years. I bought it when it was brand new. This is the LTE version and it has finally given up the ghost. It actually gave up the ghost probably a couple months ago. And I was very apprehensive about buying another smartwatch just because at this season I just did not want to spend money on another smartwatch. So I actually went to my local Target after I got off work and I was trying to find just a regular, just run-of-the-mill watch. And I asked one of the employees, hey, where do you keep your watches? And they didn't know. So I wandered around the store a bit and I was unable to find any regular watches in the store on that day. So I came home, I went on Amazon, I started looking up regular watches because I just wanted to be as cheap as possible, to be quite frank. And as I looked at all the different options, I started to think about things that I needed out of a watch, and then also just comparing one watch against another. And obviously if you get to shopping on Amazon, there's like tons of different types of products that are being offered, and you've got all these reviews that you want to read through just to make sure that you're making a pretty decent decision. And one of the things that kind of popped out to me, I was actually talking to one of my coworkers at work, and I was talking about, well, I'm thinking about getting another Apple Watch, and I wanted to get a plain watch, but one of the things that I realized I needed in my work environment at work, we work in a dark environment, and we also do things that are very time sensitive. So like if I give a dose of medication, we may give medication, in, minute intervals, whether it be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever the case may be. And we also may give medication over a span of time, which basically would mean like certain medications would be delivered over the course of like 5 minutes, in fact. And so that is super helpful to have a watch that actually gives you not just the time, but also the seconds. So obviously you can find a regular watch that does that. However, I needed a watch that when I turn up and look at it and I'm in a dark room, I need to be able to see the time. I need to be able to see the seconds. And I wasn't familiar with any regular watch that when you turn your wrist up that it basically just lights up. I'm familiar with the older model watches where you have to actually tap the button and to highlight the screen. And so it made me, to be honest, I just didn't want to put that much thought and effort into buying a regular watch. I mean, I didn't want to, to save the money, I didn't want to sit down and look and comb through things and say, okay, which watch will actually light up when I turn my wrist, or which one has a glow in the dark display, and which one's better than this one or that one. So that's what led me back to considering getting another smartwatch to replace this one that I've been used to using. So starting at the lowest tier, I did look at I looked at a Samsung Galaxy Watch because I do have a Samsung phone, and I also have my Android Microsoft Surface Duo phone. And then I also looked at the Pixel Watch, and just, obviously the Pixel Watch is in its first generation, and currently my main phone line is on my iPhone. Now I can easily pop out my SIM card and pop it into my Duo and switch those cards, but I decided I wanted to go ahead and continue to keep my main phone line with my Apple device. So coming back on track, basically it's been very difficult at work for me. Every time I turn around, I'm looking at my wrist for the time, and I try to be as efficient as I possibly can, so I'm like down to the seconds with a lot of things that I do, whether it be clocking out for lunch, clocking back in, so on and so forth. And as I said before, like in my job, I actually do administer medication, and it's time sensitive, and I want to be as accurate and precise as I can be when I'm working in conjunction with the doctor. So That being said, I went ahead and I started looking at the new Apple Watches. I looked at the Apple Watch Series 8, and I was comparing that one with the Apple Watch Ultra. Now, the Apple Watch Series 8, currently I believe it's on sale for $459. Now, the main thing that I was looking at is I did not want to use my cellular connectivity. So for the past 2 months, I've been paying through my cellular carrier for an LTE watch. So this watch has a number, but it actually is not operable. And, you know, I tried to just go without having a watch, and it just, you know, it's more annoying than I would rather. And I just don't want to deal with that anymore. So what I have here is what I settled on. I decided to go ahead and get the Apple Watch Ultra. And so I'm going to just, you know, open this up. This is my first experience with the Apple Watch Ultra. This is a very expensive watch, way more expensive than I wanted to pay. But since this watch actually, this Apple Watch Series 3 lasted me for 5 years, I'm hoping that I can get at least that out of this particular device. Maybe I won't, but I'm hoping I will. In comparison, this Apple Watch Series, or this Apple Watch Ultra, actually has, from what I understand, a bigger battery, so it has longer battery life. It can last up to a couple days or so. And it's got a bigger face, so it'll be easier to read. And, you know, those are all, you know, benefits. It's got a rugged design with the titanium case. So without further ado, let me go ahead and open this up. Now, I did buy this from my local Best Buy. Apparently in their policy, if you buy any cellular device, if you open it, you automatically have to pay $45 restocking for this device. So basically, I'm in this for $45 as soon as I open the package, and let's go ahead and do it. All right, so we've got this here. It looks like on the inside, what is going on here? We've got our, I guess, the wristband for this. I went ahead and went conservative and went with just the blackish gray, as opposed to, I was gonna get one that was kind of a gray with a like a blue stripe on it, but I decided to go ahead and just, you know, play it safe and be conservative so that it'll actually blend in with whatever I wear whenever I go. Let's go ahead and open this thing up and charge ourselves $45 in the process. So this here is an interesting device. This is a Leatherman bracelet. It's got a bunch of tools on it, and it's got a little opener for packages and such. Let's move this out of the way and open this up. All right, we got that side, and let's go over here. All right, $45 on the hook. What do we got here? This is just some kind of booklet that shows you different bands. And this is a quick start guide. I do also, from my understand that this is it actually charges faster than the conventional devices. All right, let's open this up. And here's the watch here. Inside of here we have, it says designed by Apple in California. We have our charger. It actually has a USB-C on the tip as opposed to the Lightning adapter or the USB Type A from the previous devices that I use. And of course there is there's no charging brick in the box. So let's see how this actually pops out of there. This pops up and then it just slides out. The cord is like a braided type type of cord, very similar to the cord that I got with my Apple keyboard that I bought for my Mac device. Let's set this over here out of the way. And let's take this little paper off here. All right, so this is basically $800 worth of watch, right? 800 plus tax. And comparing it to the previous watch, you can see that the screen is a little bit bigger. And this particular watch, you know, it has the rotating dial. It's got a similar button here. But then on this watch, it actually has this action button. You've got more of a speaker grill on this side here. Looking at the back, the sensor array looks a little bit different. Interesting. I wonder, I'm not 100% certain, this has a wider base. I'm gonna have to compare this band to the band that it came with, because I wonder if these older bands can be reused on this device. I have to check that out and see. Anyways, let's set this watch aside and let's go ahead and open up the watch band. All right, this is the presentation of the watch band. And I have to be honest, before now, I mean, I honestly thought it was absolutely ridiculous that a watch would cost as much as a smartphone used to cost. But I guess with, you know, the prices of everything going up, I mean, and with most people buying things with credit, is giving, you know, companies the opportunity to just charge whatever they want for any and everything, which is, I find personally to be absurd and nauseating. Now, you know, for myself personally, I don't believe in carrying any kind of debt. So everything I buy cash and carry. Which, you know, keeps, you know, it's a lot of money to spend, but when you don't buy things on credit, you don't have to pay interest rates and all of those other things. So it actually keeps your costs a lot lower. So let me just power this up. And then let's see if it'll connect to my phone. Now, I have not upgraded my phone. This phone is the iPhone 10, so I got this at the same time that I got the Apple Watch Series 3, and it has been showing its age. It's been doing a lot of crazy stuff, but I'm very resistant to upgrade my iPhone. Back when I purchased this phone, I actually purchased the Google Pixel 2 XL and also the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, I want to say. And those were my phones. I would carry all three of them. I had SIM cards in each one. And now I've actually graduated. I still have my Galaxy Note, which still has a SIM card, but I use my Surface Duo. It's kind of my secondary phone. And then the Apple device has become my main phone. So it says, go ahead and I'm gonna continue to pair. That's one of the things I really like about the Apple Watch, is the fact that it allows you to just automatically do these things that you need to do. So it says set up for my cell, hold the watch up to the camera, and so it's telling me to align it, and it says your Apple Watch is paired. And then it's got my information there. Let's see, make this your new Apple Watch. I want to continue. All right, so now it's asking me to accept terms and all of these things that I probably don't really want to agree to, but you don't have any choice if you want to use the technology, right? $800 to get the second hands back, and a watch that lights up when you turn your wrist. A lot of money. So while this is actually powering up, let me go ahead and try it on to see how it actually fits. Now this band, it does not seem to be anything special. It really feels to be quite cheap, to be quite honest, especially for the cost. It's just like some kind of a Velcro. Now I don't know how long this Velcro is gonna last, but it does, you know, it fits okay. And it feels all right on my wrist. It does, just looking at it right now, it does feel a lot bigger. Like just by comparison, let me put this one on my other arm here. That's the difference. So it actually, you know, even though it looks big on my wrist, I don't have very big wrists. I do like that I'm going to have a lot more real estate to interact with. So, you know, we'll see if I use a lot more of the applications on the watch. You know, sometimes I like to play music for my watch. So, you know, maybe this will give me a lot more functionality. So now optimize charge limit. So it's got my weight, wheelchair. What is that all about? Okay, continue this. Some safety information. So you got an SOS, you got crash detection, you got a siren that you can use. Set up cellular. Let's see if it's doing what it needs to do. I did go to the AT&T store and they told me that it should be ready to go. So we're gonna see if they did their job or if I'm gonna have to go back up there to get this reconnected. Hopefully it goes through without a hitch. We will see. And one of the things that I like using with my Apple Watch, I did like, you know, doing like the Apple Pay at places like Walmart, or not Walmart, Target. And so I kind of missed that feature, so I'm gonna be happy to get that back. I don't go very many places where I can use Apple Pay because, you know, Walmart has Walmart Pay, so they don't accept Apple Pay. And I'm not sure, I don't think Costco uses it. So those are the main places I go, but wherever, I'll have to do a deep dive and figure out what other places actually use the Apple Pay going forward. All right, so it says, okay, so I can set up my Apple Pay. All right, guys, so my watch is doing its little update thing, but in the meantime, what I want to go into is a little bit of, well, I've been thinking about doing a video like this for a while, ever since I think it's called the Apple Vision Pro or whatever. It's their VR / augmented reality headset came out. And I just wanted to offer a little bit of commentary of my own on the device. I have a history of utilizing both AR and VR technology. Right here, I have the Microsoft HoloLens, which is a holographic computer released in 2016. All right. The way the device fits is like this. It can go on, it can actually go on over your glasses like this, right? And I can actually see through the lenses, see the camera, see the world around me. And through the cameras and the technology involved, I can create holographic images all around my area. I can also create movie screens of up to like 100 inches and watch those things. Now, everything that you create using the HoloLens is actually kind of semi-transparent, so you see it fairly clearly. They don't really rate the image in, like, say 4K or anything like that, so it's not an apples to apples comparison. But this device was released in 2016. It is a standalone device. It does not have an external battery, okay? It charges via micro USB. It has a 3.5 millimeter jack. It has internal speakers, all right? It does have a removable nose bridge, and it also comes with a strap that goes over the top to be able to help secure it on your head. Now, a bit about this device. It is very heavy on the front part of your nose, the bridge. You can take a look at how it looks from the side there, right? When I purchased this, the purchase price of this is the same as the Vision Pro. It was $3,500. Now there is a newer, updated version of this that came out some years ago. The Microsoft HoloLens 2. This is Gen 1. This is what the basic Vision Pro is going to be: a developmental device, a device that's sold to enthusiasts like myself. I was an enthusiast to purchase this. I happen to believe that at that time that Windows was going to really do something with their universal Windows platform thing, and they really didn't. Just FYI, the watch is finally kind of connected and doing its thing. But basically they just kind of stopped really pursuing this. So this is augmented reality. This right here is my latest PC VR headset, which is the what do you call it? This is the Valve Index. I purchased this, basically day one when it first came out, so I've owned it for quite a long time. I don't use it like I used to. As a matter of fact, I probably have not hooked it up in probably close to 2 years or so. Definitely over a year. So I know about augmented reality and I know about PC VR, right? The Vision Pro is kind of like a conglomeration of both of these devices. Now there's another form of AR technology, and that would be this right here, the View 6 Blade smart glasses. All right, let me take off my glasses here so you can see what they look like. This is how they look. Okay, a little bit about this device. It's got a camera over here on to the left. The actual monitor is in one screen, the right side. If you get the updated version of this, it actually does have onboard speakers. This is my older one. It does not have onboard speakers, but the newer one does have onboard speakers. This runs a version of Android, but it is not Google Play compatible, so you don't have the expansive list of applications on this particular device. Now, the goal is not to really go in deep detail into these devices. What I want to just talk about is more so about the View 6 Vision Pro, my personal opinion. All right, I enjoyed my experience buying this Microsoft HoloLens. It was pretty cool. It's like the only kid on the block with it. But the reality of the matter is, being honest, this was a waste of money. This was a complete waste of $3,500, even though it was a very unique experience. It would have been so much better if I could have rented this and gotten rid of it, but it was a developmental device. I did think that Microsoft was going to pursue it further. They didn't, right? This right here is a gaming device. You can use it for other things, but it's basically you're strapped and connected to your PC. And that's just the end of that. You're not really going for it. Even though it's got some cameras on the front, you're not walking down the street with this. This device I can walk down the street with. Now, this is only a Wi-Fi only device. It does not have cellular connectivity, neither does this. Now, of these three devices, this right here is the easiest one to wear around. Now, the reason why I say that is because the Apple device is closer to this, but it also shares traits with this VR headset in the sense that my understanding of the Apple product, it does not have a true pass-through like this device does, where you can actually see through the lenses. It's actually a VR headset with a screen on the outside. So basically it's VR headset with cameras that give you a sense of augmented reality. There are pros and cons to that. Number one, if you look at the bulk of the device, most people are not going to be walking around with that on their head. Now, there was a season where I thought I was going to be walking around out in public, going to Starbucks or Pete's Coffee with this on, and I thought it was going to be the next thing. It never was. In my opinion, I think that Apple would have been better served creating a device like this that would have been for the masses. They may come back when technology is shrunken to create something like this, but I believe their current device that they're going to be releasing is basically like kind of like a step in the direction of something like this. And the reason why I say that is because they probably couldn't get everything down into a size or a package like this as of yet. This has its own limitations, right? You don't have the ability to expand windows and make them smaller. It's a fixed view, and this is a monocular view as opposed to a binocular view, so you don't see it and you don't see the image in both lenses. The Vision Pro is coming out at $3,500, which is above the price of most your average consumer. I'm sure that they are going to, stick the landing a lot better when it comes to first-party apps for the actual Apple device. But really, if you go back and look at the iPhone, it really didn't take off because of first-party apps. It took off because of third-party apps. And so the Vision device is going to be a third-party app development tool for all kinds of companies to jump in and play with the hardware, build applications to try to build like the next form of technology that basically will take over for the smartphone. All right, right now we're in this whole folding device phase. They want to get to the point of having augmented / VR type of technology to be like that next multimedia medium. When we'll get there, who knows? But the bottom line is they require us as consumers, people as developers, to buy these devices, play with them, so that they can extrapolate the data of when you use it, so that they can come back and figure out how to target the product to make it sell to the masses, so that they can make the most amount of revenue. That's the end game. That's the goal. Now, for myself personally, looking at the Vision Pro, would I recommend buying it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If I had money to burn, I absolutely would buy it, because I think it would be very cool for what it does. And I'm walking out on a ledge here to say that I believe that that Apple will do a little bit more than Microsoft did, because when I purchased this device here, this has like OneNote on it. Never fleshed out, never worked very well. It had Word on it, never fleshed out, they never added to it. Microsoft used to have a music streaming service called Groove. There was an application for this device, and I could listen to Groove music in this device. They soon after I purchased this, they got rid of Groove, which means that functionality went away. Even the Edge browser is hit and miss on this device, because it's not supported in the same way that it was when it first originally came out, because of course it did not catch on with the masses, and it seems to be that they were unable to figure out what to do with a device like this, so it didn't progress. Now, my personal opinion on the Vision device is that I believe that for their core applications, whether it be video streaming like the Apple TV Plus, all of those types of things, I think they'll probably hit that ball right out of the park. If you need a personal movie theater, I think that would be great. I think that if you want to have a larger screen to do things like, imagine if you're working on your MacBook or your desktop and you're editing video, and basically the computer is actually doing the work, and your Vision Pro is just your monitor, so you can have multiple displays up with that one device and be able to, something like the way I would think that it could be used would be edit video, make music in Logic, work in Final Cut Pro. All of these different types of things would be, nice, because you basically would get more from a smaller device. Because you could have, if you think about now when you use a MacBook, you can plug it into a monitor, external monitor, close it up, and use that bigger display. Well, this could, the Vision device can be your bigger display without having to use a lot more room. So I find that to be a very unique and a nice way to do that. Now, I don't think it's $3,500 worth of whatever. Now, you have to think about this device now. It's got cameras, obviously, eye tracking. They're going to be extrapolating a whole lot of data from you as a human being, as an individual, to help make their product better, but also to make their product more like a smartphone. You know, most of us can't live without a smartphone now. And that's the goal, to create a piece of technology that you feel like you cannot live without. Most people do not leave the house without a smartphone. They feel naked without it. Even though you wasn't born with it, even though, you know, 20, 30 years ago, you know, people used payphones. They didn't use cell phones like, or smartphones like they do today. And they want to add another device, you know, because you think about, you got your iPhone, you got your iPad, you got your, you know, your iPad mini, your regular iPad, you've got your Mac, and then you got your desktop. They want to sell you all these devices with increasing credit, you know, and every 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years, they're going to update it to the point to where you have to buy that next tier of device, right? So in reality, it's like they're selling you a product, but really you are the product. You are the value, because without you, the device is nothing. Without you wearing this around, and whether it be with cameras recording video, bringing data into the device, or without you choosing to consume media in this is, you know, this right here, this is a paperweight right now. It still turns on. Some of the applications still work. As slow as molasses, it has an Intel processor, and eventually the Vision Pro is going to be the same thing. Just like where's my iPhone at? Wherever it is, my iPhone right now is starting to get janky because it's, you know, 5 years old, right? And that's what's going to happen to technology. So at $3,500 for the new Vision device, I mean, you know, as I said before, if I had money to burn, I would actually buy it. But, you know, in my opinion, the only person that should buy it is somebody that has money to burn, or someone obviously that's on YouTube making money on YouTube. I'm not making money on YouTube. And people want to see the device and live vicariously through another person, a person like that. And obviously a developer who is looking to the future to try to get their next big app onto the possible future of media. Those are the only people that should buy this device, right? Some issues that I have with the device. Now, I've heard it's made out of metal. It looks like it has more of a premium feel to it. Now, the band around the back seems a little bit chintzy to me, but I understand why they did that design. I mean, with this right here, this device here, I can't lay down in my bed with this on. Not gonna go very well. And same thing with most traditional headsets, VR headsets. You're not gonna have that comfort to be able to just lay down in your bed. Having that kind of a mesh backing gives you the ability to lay back on your head, and you can watch a TV show on the ceiling or do whatever it is you want to do, which is actually pretty nice. I mean, it's very convenient. Not $3,500 convenient, but it's convenient. Another concern I have, I know that the Vision device from Apple has eye tracking, advanced camera systems, all of these things. It's definitely not a 2016 device. Before 2024 device, when it's supposed to be released, this right here, with no external wires, batteries included inside of the device, this gets 2 hours of battery life. I think after all this time, 2 hours of battery life, and even the new Microsoft HoloLens that came out, 2 hours of battery life. I think that is the biggest stumble regarding this Vision device. Now, by comparison, this device right here, I've actually worn this all day before, and I got 8 hours out of this just receiving notifications. That's not you watching video or recording with the camera and doing all those things, but just basically having messages come to my phone and be, you know, sent to this device. This device has lasted me for 8 hours. This right here is the View 6 collar battery, and it actually plugs into the device down here, and it sits around your neck like this. And with this device and the glasses, I'm able to go all day, right? All day. I can watch video, I can record video, I can, you know, go through apps, all of these different things all day long. And that's why I think that, you know, it would have been nice if Apple could have possibly pulled back on trying to combine AR and VR and some of the, you know, amazing features that they have in that device, and just create something like this. A pair of smart glasses that people could wear, that connects to your iPhone, that gives you notifications, that you could use a, you know, record with a camera if you so chose, that you could, you know, watch videos and movies in or whatever, and make it binocular, right? And then also give us some kind of a device like this that would give you, you know, all day battery life. Something like that, in my opinion, they would probably sell as many of those as they have iPhones to anybody that can afford it. This right here, albeit this is a developmental device, this is not gonna sell to nearly as many people. And even people that are willing to go into debt to have the latest and greatest, I mean, look at every device, right? Let's go back and look at that, the Apple speaker that they made. They discontinued it. You know, they came out with it. It was really expensive for what it was, and then they totally discontinued it. I actually have two of them here that I use with my Apple TV, which I don't mind it, but the bottom line is they discontinued it, and then years later they've reintroduced it and they're selling it again. This right here, the Vision device, right? I keep grabbing this HoloLens, but it's to represent that new device that they're going to be selling. That's what I kind of see it as. I see it as a device that, I mean, the iPhone comes out dang near, well, it comes out every year, sometimes multiple versions a year. The iPads and the Macs, they're coming out at a staggering pace. $3,500 is not sustainable for the consumer, especially in these economic times. It's just not. And in my opinion, that battery life is a major, major drawback. The actual charging mechanism is very similar to like the Magic, I think it was called the Magic Leap, that was a competitor to this HoloLens, but it had a little, you know, like a little dongle that ran down to a battery pack. This is 2023. The HoloLens came out in 2016, all right? That's 7 years ago, almost a decade ago. This is completely wireless, right? It doesn't have cellular connectivity. It does have Wi-Fi, right? It does do, you know, what do you call it? This doesn't have eye tracking. I believe the second version of this does have eye tracking. So there's that. But as I said, you know, I'm anxious to see what the reviews look like and how the device is actually received and what people could do. But, you know, for me, it basically is going to end up being very similar to this more than likely. They will extrapolate a lot of data out of it, because if you go back, well, this is kind of a side note. There were people that worked at Microsoft that helped create the Kinect, which is now dead on Xbox, who went over to Apple. And my understanding is some of that technology that they use with the cameras that you would, you know, do Just Dance and all of these things on your TV with your Xbox, that type of technology used in here, that type of technology is probably in that Vision Pro as well. You know, an more advanced form of it. Where's the Xbox Kinect now? Gone. Where's the HoloLens now? Gone. So the Apple Vision device, I just think that I'm happy to see it come. I'm a little bit disappointed that it was not a you know, a smaller form factor with better options for battery life and more, you know, more consumer focused. But I do understand that a lot of projects now, a lot of new technology is being created real time, and we as a consumer and developers are actually the people that are helping to make these products become successful. You know, the initial people that bought the iPhone, I was one of them, before they had cut and paste, before they had video, before they had many apps. We were the trial version. You know, many of us signed up for the $30 unlimited data, you know, that was required with that original Apple device, only to find later the carriers, you know, would do things like basically slow down your speed and do whatever they could to get you off of that unlimited data, because they realized it was a treasure trove of making money as long as you charge people for data. Because as more apps come, That's just more money to be made. And all of these devices are created to kind of create that same kind of, I guess, monetary experience. We're the batteries of this technology, right? We're the ones that continue to go to work. We work hard all day. We take our money. We buy things like this that basically have a very short half-life. And once we finish using this one up, just like me buying this watch, you're expected to just go and give that money to, to buy the next device. Anyways, I'm just rambling now. Thanks for taking time to watch the video. I do have, when I actually sit down and think about it more, I will have a little bit more to say about augmented reality, VR, all of these things. And there'll be all kinds of different other types of content on my channel here at Daddy Share Space. I just want to thank you guys for taking time to watch the video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care.